Good morning, guys. Today we're going to do a couple application problems for the unit of factoring. So we're going to start off with number 1 and we'll skip around, just maybe do 2 or 3, and beginning with number 1. So a town square has an area of x squared plus 6x minus 16 feet squared. Determine the length and width of the town square in terms of x. So if we're looking at length and width and area, we know we have to use the formula in some way. And we know that the area of a rectangle or a square is A equals length times width. They give you the area A. They tell you that it's equal to x squared plus 6x minus 16, and you know it's equal to some length times some width. So how do we get it into the multiplication of a length and width? Well, you guys have been doing it all this unit. It's just factoring, but now instead of an L or a W, you have some sort of binomial. So to find the length and width, we're going to factor this. Now using the T-chart, factors of 16 are 1 and 16, 2 and 8, 4 and 4. We have a positive and a negative, so the larger factor is positive. And the only two that work here are the 8 and negative 2, because if you add them, you get positive 6. So now I'm going to factor it as my work first. X minus 2, x plus 8. And now I can't just stop there. It's asking me to determine the length and width. We just said the area equals length times width. So we'll assign each one the word length or width. It does not matter which one. So length is, we'll say x minus 2, and add your units, feet. The width is x plus 8 feet. Parentheses or not parentheses, does not matter. Part B, determine the perimeter of the town square. So let's draw a picture of this town square first. We just found the length and the width. The perimeter of a rectangle or square is adding up all the sides. So in other words, it's 2 times the length and 2 times the width, or the width plus the width plus the length plus the length. Shortcut to that formula, perimeter equals twice length plus twice width. And now we're just substituting these lengths and widths into our equation. So the perimeter equals twice, and now what's the length? X minus 2, plus twice the width, which is x plus 8. So from there, they want the answer in terms of x. You should definitely distribute here and simplify. So go ahead and do that and combine your like terms. When you distribute and simplify, you should get 4x plus 12 feet. Remember, feet squared only applies when we're talking area, and that was given to us in the problem. Is the town square an actual square? Explain why or why not. So we know that a square has the same length and width, so all the sides are equal. Looking at the length and width we have here, is x minus 2 and x plus 8 equal? Well, no. One is x subtract 2, one is x add 8. So no, the length and width are not equal. All right, we're going to skip number 2 because we've done something similar in class. We'll go to number 3. It says the length of a rectangle game reserve is 1 mile longer than twice the width. The area of the reserve is 55 square miles. What's the width of the reserve? So let's draw a picture here to help us start off. It says the length is 1 mile more than twice the width. So what are they not giving us information about, and what are they asking us for? That's what we need to define a variable for. So let's let W equal width. The one they give us more information for is the length. So we can use what they tell us about the length to write a statement. 1 mile longer than twice width, or twice width plus 1 mile equals length. So now we can label our rectangle and use the information about area. It's 55 square miles. So if we know that area, again, is length times width, we can set up an equation, width times 2w plus 2, length times width. Oops. If you want to label it on top to remind yourself this was the length, this is the width, equals area, and area is 55. Now we have to solve for w. So in order to solve for w, you're going to have to distribute this first and then subtract the 55. If this was set equal to 0, you guys could go straight to zero product property, but since it's not, you have to distribute, subtract 55, and then refactor this problem. So this ends up being 2w squared plus w equals 55. And I want you guys to factor this from here. Subtract the 55 to both sides, use the two-table method, and factor. All right, you should have found that w and 2w were your only possible choices there, and 5 and 11 got us the closest to that 1w here. If you check, this works out. Your last step is to set every factor equal to 0 and solve. You guys know how to go from here, but on the left you'll get negative 11 over 2, and on the right you'll get 5. Now let's think for a moment. Can a width be negative? No, so we're going to cross that answer off. Our width is going to be 5, but we have to write a little statement out. The width is 5, and do they give us units? Miles. Okay. We'll do one more together. That's underneath. Oh, I erased it actually. Number 4. Okay, it says the height h above the water of a cliff diver. Drawing my little picture. Is modeled by that equation, where t is time in seconds. How long is the diver in the air? So let's draw a little picture here. The diver is going to go up, and then eventually it's going to hit the water. We're about to learn about these figures in the next section. They're called parabolas. Technically it's a U shape, but I wanted to draw my cliff to show the person jumping, diving. Okay, so this right here is a little representation of my equation, which I'll show you on Desmos in a moment. And they want to know how long this diver is in the air for, so right before it hits this water level. So what's the height here? The height at ground or water level is just 0. There's no height. It's hitting the floor. So if I want to find out how long a diver's in the air for, I want to find out how long it takes to hit the water. That would give me the same answer. So this h of t right here, I'm going to replace it for 0. When is that equation, negative 16 t squared plus 10t plus 26 equal to 0? Okay, and now we have a problem here where it's a squared term, it's in standard form, it's a trinomial. We have to factor it in order to find t. So this is going to require you to first completely factor. So I'm going to stop the video. I want you to think, what's the GCF I can factor out? Can I have a negative? And then we'll go from there. Hopefully you factored out a negative 2 because now your leading coefficient's not negative, and we can make our 2t charts because now we have this 8 in front. So go ahead, take a moment to guess and check on your own, and find out the values that will give us negative. The factors that ended up working are 8t and t, and obviously 1 and 13, the only ones left. And now when you solve each one separately, you get t equals -1. Automatically, I'm crossing that off. Time cannot be negative seconds. So then the last one, oh, I forgot my -2 out here. 18 minus 13 equals 0. Add 13. T equals positive 13, divide by 8, t equals 13 over 8. And go ahead and get a decimal for that. It's much, when you're talking about time, you're not going to tell someone 13 over 8 seconds. You're going to tell someone 1.63 seconds to, oh, not even to hit the floor, how long he was in the air for. So write in the air for 1.63 seconds, and that's rounded. All right, that's it for this video, those 3 problems. Make sure you ask any questions if you have any in class.